As we discussed in the previous video, we were familiar with four main factors. Based on them, our speaking skill is scored in IELTS: fluency and coherence, grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation. Today, through this video, I'm going to talk about in detail about fluency and coherence. As a matter of fact, I'm going to discuss what is fluency and coherence exactly in IELTS Speaking Test. That means how well you're able to discuss the topic without pausing or hesitating too much or repeating the same words. To get a higher score for this section, you have to develop your answers and organize your ideas logically. Now, what do I mean by organizing ideas? Well, take a look at this example. Examiner, do you think we're healthier now than what we used to be 100 years ago? The student, we are healthier in some ways and we are less healthy in some other ways. This is a poor answer to this question. Now let's check another answer with a higher score. Well, I believe that generally we are more health conscious, but I think in some ways we are less healthy than in the past. Did you notice in the second answer how the speaker organized her idea with using connecting phrases like, well, I believe, generally, but I think, and how the student improved the quality of his vocabulary? Now, let's talk about 5 important rules to improve fluency in speaking. The first one is, get out there and speak. If you really want to improve your speaking fluency, you have to get out and speak English. In other words, talk to people and use your English to communicate with them. In fact, nothing helps with your speaking except speaking. Speaking English is a practical skill. It is not an academic subject. It is not something that you can learn by reading a book. Try to speak English as often as you can. The second factor is get used to pressure. Speaking a foreign language is hard. It is really important to keep it in our mind that studying and learning a second language is always full of difficulties and problems, which is natural in the second language learning process. It is crucial to remember this fact and accept it. In fact, you shouldn't let these difficulties and pressures stop you, but you have to keep going and practice hard. The third factor is speed reading. Find a text in English from a newspaper, online, from a blog, etc. Remember, the text should be fairly easy for you. It shouldn't contain a lot of new words for you or something which is way above your current English level. Then sit down with a timer and read the text aloud and time yourself. Then the next time, read the text again and try to beat your previous time. Do it several times and each time try to beat your former time. So, what is this for? Remember, a part of fluency in English is physical. In other words, our mouth and lips should get used to sounds in English and pronounce them naturally, smoothly and step by step fast. This can be achieved by reading text loudly. Another factor is using songs. Find a song in English which you like. You can find the lyrics online and then play the song and read the lyrics with the song. This can also challenge your physical parts of your mouth involved in making sounds, and consequently it can help to pronounce the words more naturally. And finally, learn language in chunks. Improving fluency in a second language has got 2 parts: physical aspect, which, as I said, is about the true pronunciation and reading the sounds and vocabularies, and also mental aspect, which we will discuss in this part. It is really important to know that when you are learning a second language, do not look at your learning process as learning individual words. Instead, we should have a broader look by looking at the phrases and sentences. What I mean is that many language learners in the first stages of language learning tend to look at a sentence as a part made of several vocabularies, then try to translate each word individually to learn the meaning and concept of the sentence. However, this is totally a wrong process. Instead, we should try to look at a sentence as a part made of chunks and phrases. For example, imagine someone asks you, "What are you doing this weekend?" Look at 3 answers. "I'm gonna see some old friends." "I'm thinking of going for a bike riding." "I might do some odd jobs around the house." If you notice, each of these answers are made of 2 different chunks. For example, answer 1 is made of 2 chunks. I'm going to plus see some old friends. Answer 2, I'm thinking of plus going for a bike ride. And sentence number 3, I might do plus some old jobs around the house. As a matter of fact, by breaking sentences into different chunks, we can learn a second language more naturally and easier. And of course, it helps us speak English more fluently.